The hell am I humming? Bum 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 bum. Da 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 da. What? It's Robocop. That's the theme from Robocop. That's what I'm. Speaking of Orion Pictures. Hello, Orion. Bum 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 bum. Robocop is good. Robocop 2, pretty good. Surprisingly, quite good follow up to an excellent, dare I say, classic original film. Robocop 3? Nope. Nope. No, Robocop 3 was bad. Eh. The miniseries that they made, Prime Directives, I think it was called, was not too bad. The remake that they did 10 some years ago, bad. Was Robocop 3, asks Exile, the one with the samurai robots? It was, yeah. It was also the one where they killed off Nancy Allen at the, what's the character's name? Lewis. They kill off Lewis at the beginning of the movie. Ballsy choice. It's the one with the jetpack. It's the one with the precocious kid who is the hacker who programs the Ed 209 to be loyal as a puppy. And then they proceed to do nothing with the fact that they've got an Ed 209. Okay. I think that might have come in useful at some point in the movie, but no. I'm remember I did a not a debut review. What was it? I think back when I did 30 Days of Netflix, I think RoboCop the remake was one of the ones I did on that. And I remember one of my big complaints about the movie was the mishandling of the RoboCop theme song. So anyway, Chicago says there was more than one RoboCop. There were 3 movies. There was a 4-episode television miniseries. There was 1 remake, and there was a, believe it or not, a cartoon. Yeah, a children's cartoon based on RoboCop. I mean that. I don't know that would be kind of like them. I mean, they did there was also a Rambo kids cartoon. Those are probably the most egregious examples of R-rated entertainment being repackaged for children's entertainment. They had King Kong and Godzilla cartoon shows. They never did like a Freddy Krueger Saturday morning cartoon. Both Krueger and, well, both the Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th franchises had a television series. Although Freddy Krueger himself was only kind of like the host, the Crypt Keeper role for the Freddy's Nightmares, I think it was called. Nightmare Cafe, which had nothing to do with Nightmare on Elm Street or Freddy Krueger, but did star Robert Englund. Only lasted 6 episodes, but it was pretty fun. Then the Friday the 13th TV series had nothing to do with Jason Voorhees. It was just if I'm remembering right, it was like 2 kids who worked in like an antique shop and everything in there was cursed or something, and it kept branching out into different stories based on whatever damn knickknack they were playing with that week. But I mean, those shows were not like, they weren't cartoons and they weren't aimed at children, but they also weren't anything fans of the franchise wanted to see either. So sometimes you hear the criticism, who is this for? And it's like, I don't know. There was a Mr. T and Friends cartoon series. That's true. Friday the 13th series was awesome. Nothing to do with the movie, though. You know what? The Friday the 13th series, if you completely ignore the fact that it's called Friday the 13th, the series, it's fine. As I said, if my memory is very fuzzy, but kids work in an antique store and the antique stuff is haunted and they go on different adventures based on the curios that they come across. You could do Gremlins this series and essentially have the same setup. It's fine. I still say Nightmare Cafe is better, although Friday the 13th did last longer. But if you ignore the fact that as long as you're not expecting Jason Voorhees or Crystal Lake or anything, because it has nothing to do with that, it's an okay show. Ryan and Mickey, or rather, Ryan and Mickey, cousins who inherited a cursed shop. They had to retrieve all the cursed items. Okay, is that what it was? All right. They had to go. So they're like, okay, we're missing a bunch of the crap. We have to go get it before it hurts anyone else. Okay, so I'm kind of along. I remember watching it back in the 90s or something like that, and so my memory of it is pretty fuzzy. XL says, worst one I've seen is a show called Vampires, a show about cars that... Oh my god, V-A-N, van as in a vampire. Show about cars that turn into vampires done in CG. Oh my god. Oh, that's wonderful. Chicago says, my brother and I watched it. It was late at night, and the parents were asleep. We weren't supposed to watch TV that late. Oh, by the way, hi, welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode, 318. Andrew here. May as well start the show. So we're just talking about well, I'll leave all that stuff in so I don't have to reintroduce everything. So hi everyone. Weird start to the podcast today. Honestly, I've never heard of Vampires, but now I kind of want to check it out because it's funny, sometimes I like puns and weird portmanteaus, like the game Returnal. I don't have any interest in playing the game, but I do love the name. But sometimes it doesn't work, like the new-ish game Forspoken makes me want to punch it in the face. Like, nope. Returnal, love it. Forspoken, nope. Yeah. So, oh man, what other? They never did a Hellraiser cartoon or TV show. I'm pretty sure they never did a Halloween cartoon or TV show. Although, honestly, my favorite entry in the Halloween franchise is the third one, the Season of the Witch, the one that doesn't have Michael Myers in it. It's one of those movies, like, I think most people are like, if you ignore the fact that it has nothing to do with Michael Myers and is not a sequel to the first two films, it's a fun film. It's got Tom Atkins in it. How can you not love it? Children's faces melt into bugs. It's great. I love Halloween 3. Yes, it has nothing to do with Michael Myers, and if that's a sticking point, I understand, but yeah, it's my favorite of all of the Halloween films that I've seen, anyway. I have not seen the new trilogy, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, and I didn't see the two Rob Zombie films. I've seen the rest of them, though. And they're all not great, except Halloween 3, which is wonderful. Actually, kind of there's so much fun design with the Cenobites. It's kind of surprising that they didn't do a weird children's cartoon adaptation of Hellraiser, because that could have been really fun. Because there's just, think of the really cool toys that you could have got from all the Cenobites. The new Hellraiser, which came out last year sometime, not too bad. Had some neat additions to the mythos. I liked all the lore stuff. I thought that was neat. Had a new take on the puzzle box and how it works and what it does. Thought that was neat. If I'm remembering right, it was just like wasn't into any of the characters. One of the surprising things is the first Hellraiser, solid film. I mean, is the first Nightmare on Elm Street really? I'm sorry. Yes, it is. Is the first actually the first one of the classic? The first Child's Play, really solid. First Nightmare on Elm Street, really solid. First Halloween, I'm not as big a fan as most, but really solid. First Friday the 13th? No, it's garbage. How did that get a sequel? I don't know. It's really genuinely not very good. There's some fun kills in it, but that's it. Hellraiser 2, actually not too bad. Pretty good follow-up. Hellraiser 3, bad, but fun. Hellraiser 4, in space, bad, but also kind of fun. The rest of them are that I've seen. I haven't seen. There's I think like 8 or 9 of them. I think I bowed out after 4. I don't think I saw it. They were all, I think, direct-to-video after that. I don't think I saw any of them. Most of them were not originally written as Hellraiser films, and from what I've read from reviews and stuff, they really feel like that. They were just other scripts that were adapted into a Hellraiser movie. It's like, well, what if we take this detective story and just throw Pinhead in there? Let's see what else. To a lesser extent, I mean, it's not like hardcore R kind of stuff, but the original Poltergeist is a solid movie. Poltergeist 2 and 3 are watchable. What else? Okay, the Leprechaun series. I mean, you've got Lucky from Lucky Charms. I mean, go ahead and you can adapt the Leprechaun into. Yeah, the Leprechaun series is not good. I've seen. Have I seen most of them? I know I've seen the first one. I'm pretty sure I saw the one. I saw the one in space. Again, I think that's 4. And I think there's 2 In the Hood movies. I think I saw one of those. There's one where he's in Vegas. I don't remember if that's the 3rd one or one of the In the Hood ones. I did not see the remake of Leprechaun. Okay, so... but what I'd really like to talk about is... Exile. I stopped around the space one. You know what? That's always a pretty good. That's always a pretty good entry to bow out, because once it goes to space, where are you going from there? I mean, even Friday the 13th. Once that hits space with Jason X, they're like, "What do we do now?" I don't know. Reboot it, I guess. Which they did in 2009, and the reboot, I think it was 2009, and it was fine. It was enjoyable. And then they didn't do anything else with it. They tried doing a television show a couple years ago, and that fell through. They're trying to do a television show again, from what I understand. And they're trying to reboot it again, from what I understand. So, good luck. I saw the first season of Chucky, and I quite liked it. So, go ahead and do a TV series. Just do it good. Alright. Chucky in space. Chucky hasn't gone to space yet. I'm sure it'll happen at some point, but hasn't happened yet. I haven't seen season 2, because it's not streaming anywhere I have access to, and it's not on DVD yet, so... let's see. I'd like to talk about Velma again, briefly. I talked about it last week, and if you recall, I said it's not a good show. In fact, I'd go so far as to say it's bad, but what I'd seen at that point, which was the first 4 episodes, half the jokes landed. Now, if only half of the jokes in a comedy series are funny, it's kind of a failure of a comedy series, but yeah, I mean, the amusement level is high enough throughout to not completely waste your time. So, I watched the first 4 episodes of Velma. It's like, yeah, it's not working. It's bad, but half the jokes are genuinely tickling my fancy. So, at least I'm not completely wasting my time on it. I'm getting some consistent chuckles here and there. So, well, they released episodes 5 and 6 this week. They took out all the funny jokes. Now it's just bad and unfunny, which makes the show really boring. Uh, I was hoping that this show would course correct and stick the landing, but oh golly, Miss Molly, doesn't look like it. The future is looking grim for the Velma show. Episodes 5 and 6 were really boring. Um, although, uh, from what I understand, I was not expecting Scooby Doo, the dog, to be in the show, because what I read a year ago is they couldn't get the rights to the actual character of. They're like, yeah, you can do an adult version of the Scooby Gang, you just can't use Scooby Doo. They might have been lying about that because it looks like they're actually setting up not only Scooby Doo, but why Scooby Doo can talk, which who cares? um, so, if you've seen the show or recall me talking about, Chicago says, Shokes? Shitty jokes? Yeah, let's go with that, sure. Um, Jared said, you said that you were going to be positive. I didn't think there was very much positively said. Yeah, well, I'm positive the show's not very good. Yeah, I'm pretty positive that episodes 5 and 6 were boring and nearly humorless. I mean, there were like maybe 2 jokes in each episode that I cracked a grin at, but whoo, rough set. But as you may recall from either watching the show or my description, the inciting incident of the Velma show is there's a serial killer who is chopping off the tops of high school kids' heads and removing their brains. Okay. Well, in episode 6, I think, 5 and 6, one of the two, both of the, I don't remember. It's all blending together into a morass of garbage. There's this secret government organization in the 70s called the Secret Covert Operation Brain Initiative, Scooby, where they were trying to do they were trying to infiltrate hippies. They like the evil government was trying to squelch the peace and love man movement by brainwashing people, and that didn't work. So they were like, okay, what if we like remove their brains and replace them from our own, and then we could infiltrate the hippies or something like that? I'm like, oh no. Are they trying to? Is that what this whole stealing people's brains is about? Is that why Scooby Doo can talk? Because they're gonna put someone's brain in a dog? Oh no. I mean, fine, whatever. I don't care. But all right. Well, Spring's Eternal Hope does. So maybe episodes 7 and 8 will be good. I don't know. It's to the point. It's like episode 5 and 6 really soured me on a show that I wasn't really too high on in the first place. So I'll probably watch them, but it might be something that I just like don't get around to doing. I don't know. It's a shame. If only every show was good. What are you gonna do? Scooby. And Velma says, what does Scooby do? You know, that's a groaner, sure. And if you have a groaner, in the middle of an otherwise pleasant and amusing experience full of consistent laughter, you get a fun eye roll out of it. But when you're bored and the show's not funny and you hit a groaner, it just hurts. So, yeah. Scooby-Doo. More like Scooby-Don't. Ugh. Alright. I made a mistake at work this week. And I'm going to tell you about it because it's funny to me. So, one of my big responsibilities at work is I'm a quality assurance analyst. So one of my responsibilities is making sure that our benefits administration system is working correctly. And to explain the benefits administration system, what it does is it administers benefits. You see, mostly retirement benefits. But there are also disability benefits. So if you get hurt on or off the job, depending on certain circumstances, you can partake of some disability benefits. There are certain requirements. It can depend on how much service credit you have, what kind of job you have, whether you got hurt on duty or off duty, a bunch of different requirements. So we made a change to the generation of a particular communication. So we have an entire workflow. You apply for disability, you put in all the information, it gets rejected or it gets approved. If it gets approved, it automatically sends a letter, right? We made a change to the letter that gets sent. So in order to test that, I have to get test data and push it through the flow to get to this activity to make sure that it does what it's supposed to do. So I grabbed the test data, which is a person, and I started pushing them through the disability flow. And it wasn't working. And it took me a couple minutes, but I figured out why it wasn't working. It wasn't working because the person I was trying to push through the disability flow was dead. And apparently, if you're dead, you don't qualify for disability. Although I would argue that death is pretty debilitating. I can't do a lot when I'm dead. One of the things I can't do when I'm dead is collect benefits, so I guess it makes sense. Because it's like, I mean, okay, we could give you benefits when you're dead, but what are you going to do? Collect them? How? You can't. Besides, there's already death benefits. Well, kind of. You don't really benefit from dying, but your loved ones might. So, yeah, that's one of the nice things about working from home by yourself. When you make really stupid mistakes, no one is around to see it. It's like, oh, I just tried to put a dead person through disability. Yeah, whoops. Did the dead person also try to register to vote? Well, I don't know. But that's not a feature of our system, so I would assume not, because dead people not known for doing much of anything. Kind of useless, except maybe as fertilizer. I mean, I'll try to be the exception when I die, but I have a feeling that no matter how much I try, when I pass away, I'm gonna be a pretty useless corpse. You can look at my dead body with all the expectations in the world, but it's probably going to just lie there and not do much except decompose. It's like, come on, man. Are you giving your death 100%? So, a dead person should qualify for not just disability, but unemployment. Yeah, I mean, we don't employ any dead people. Well, that's actually not true, because we do have people that we employ and we pay and we deliver various benefits to, might, either active employees or retirees, and they die before we hear about them dying, which makes sense. So there is a point of time when we are administering benefits, possibly even paychecks, to people who are not alive. And it's not until later, until someone tells us, oh, by the way, this person died back in November. It's like, oh, well, all right. We're gonna have to get some of that money back. My corpse could. Well, I am an organ donor, so it's not like like I said, corpses can make fertilizer, and we're also good for organ donating. So there you go. Exile says, I'm registered as an organ donor, if only I was around to hear dibs. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, organ donor, just not Marvin. You know what you did, Marv. So, alright. Next on my list of things to talk about. So, NVIDIA released an update this week on a new feature called Eye Contact effect. Now, what this does is it will algorithmically redraw your eyeballs so that they're always staring at the camera. Why would you want that? Well, I argue you wouldn't. That would be very unsettling if you were watching a live stream or a podcast or a YouTube video and the person who was the subject of the video never broke eye contact, never looked away, just stared at you the entire time, peering deep, deep into your soul. I learned back in my 20s not to do that. In fact, I consulted my interpersonal communications teacher at college. You see, because my intuitive sense was it's polite to look at people so they know you're talking to, so that they know that not just you're addressing them, but you're actively listening to them and not distracted by birds or butterflies or something. But while that's true to an extent, it's true to an extent. One should always, especially when they're unsettlingly creepy dudes like me, look away now and then. Blink, for God's sake. Break eye contact. Look away and look back. Because if you just constantly stare at people, it usually, depending on the person of course, but makes them very uncomfortable. But ostensibly, the idea behind this NVIDIA Eye Contact effect thing is for streamers to be able to look at the chat and read the chat, and it appears their eyeballs are always looking at the camera. Again, that's a stupid idea. That's really, really, really dumb. The other thing that it might be used for is if you have like a script off of the camera, like cue cards or something, you can just read them over here, but this graphics card effect just redraws your eyeballs looking at the camera. You could also invest in a teleprompter. You could do that. That's something you could do. Hell, I have one. It's going to ride. Look, right there. It's facing the other way right now, but that's a teleprompter. When I do scripted videos, which is not terribly often, but I use a teleprompter. Now, for the first nearly decade of my YouTube career. Well, actually, no. The first six years or so of my YouTube career, I memorized my scripts. Took several days. You know my first video, the Nintendo "Why won't you let me give you my money?" That was a, I don't know, 7 or 8 minute video. That whole script, like I don't know, 500-600 words or whatever it is, I memorized it. Took me 4 or 5 days. It took me 7 or 8 takes to get through that thing without making a mistake. Then I bought a teleprompter. And I still rehearse to try and get the performance correct. But it does mean my turnaround is quicker because I don't have to spend I can spend half a day rehearsing and familiarizing myself with my script, but I don't have to spend 4 days to a week memorizing the entire thing to get it in one go. But here's the big thing. The eye contact feature of the new NVIDIA update, it doesn't work at all. This is a screenshot from the official announcement video from NVIDIA. Let me see if I can... Yeah, see right here? NVIDIA Studio. You see this over here? This is the actual footage. He's looking off to the right of the camera, left side of the screen, and this is the eye contact feature moving his eyeballs. But as you can see, it's not moving the eyeballs, so it's looking at the camera. He's looking off slightly to the left of the camera. I have seen several minutes of demo footage of the eye contact stuff from NVIDIA and from other people just like running movies like Jurassic Park and other things through this filter, and everyone is always looking slightly, usually to the left, slightly off camera. Sometimes to the right, but never, not once does this thing ever have the eyeballs looking straight at the camera. So instead of looking off to the right at your script or your chat, it moves your eyeballs so you're looking off to the other side of the camera, making it completely pointless. Good job, NVIDIA. Nice one. Oi. Chicago says NVIDIA wants to have a staring contest with you. I mean, it's the kind. That's the thing that a company doing something stupid that no one wants or would find useful. That doesn't surprise me. But a company releasing a product that clearly, demonstrably doesn't do what they say it does, I find kind of baffling. Like, they didn't even doctor the... Like Ubisoft at least lies when it makes bullshots, you know? Remember, oh god, what was the name of that game? It's the one with it's the one where you have a cell phone and you hack stuff with your cell phone. You remember when Ubisoft back in 2013 or whenever it was, was showing off the first game in that series, and it looked incredible because it was all bullshit? Yeah, they just lied. It's kind of surprising, although I guess admirable, that NVIDIA is not just, lying, like redoctoring the footage to correct the eye line. No, it's just saying, here's our product that when you're looking here, it makes you look straight at the camera. Like this. See, it's adjusted your eyes so you're looking right at the camera. No. No. Nope, clearly not. Nope, it's looking off to the left of the camera. Ah! Is it April 1st? No, it's not April 1st. What are you doing, NVIDIA? Oi. XL says, guess I'll wait for someone to use the eye imaging on these dolls with the real teeth. Go for the whole horror package. Watch Dogs. Thank you, XL. Yeah, it was Watch Dogs. Now, not to single out Ubisoft, Although I will single them out for being a corporation that harbors and excuses and protects sexual predators, and has done for decades. But they're not the only company that bullshots. Gearbox did that with Aliens, Colonial Marines. What was that big PS3 shooter game when the PS3 debuted? Can't remember. But yeah, lots of companies do that. So, alright, NVIDIA. NVIDIA's weird. Okay, now it's time to get to the conspiracy theory portion of the podcast. Yes, dear viewers, we're going to talk about M&Ms. The most important thing going on in the world today. Now, you may remember the pandemonium that occurred early last year when Mars Wrigley, the company that makes M&Ms, updated, changed, altered the beloved Spokes Candy character designs. Possibly you didn't notice because it was pretty subtle, but they slightly recolored the limbs, they adjusted the lengths of the limbs, and they changed one of the characters' shoes. So the green M&M, she used to wear go-go boots, now she's wearing sneakers. And there were people who were very upset because they're, not to kink shame, but I guess some people cannot enjoy a bag of chocolate unless the cartoon candies get them hard. Hey, we all have our kinks. I'm very sorry you can't enjoy 140 calories worth of chocolate because you need a cartoon M&M and go-go boots to do it for you so you can enjoy chocolate. Yep. That was a thing. That made the news a year ago. So you would think Mars Wrigley would be very careful about any changes to such classic beloved characters that, of course, have never changed at all in their 80 years of existence. I mean, the M&M's characters started around like 1940. It's been the same suite of characters, and they have not altered their design one iota until they changed the green M&M shoes last year. And hey, I mean, if you do something for 80, I'm being facetious, of course. The characters have changed and been added to multiple times over many decades. So, last week... Oh, hey, I have 2 messages on LinkedIn. Delete. So, last week, Mars Wrigley put out a message saying, "America, let's talk! In the last year, we've made some changes to our beloved Spokes candies. We weren't sure if anyone would even notice. And we definitely didn't think it would break the internet, but now we get it. Even a candy's shoes can be polarizing. Which was the last thing M&M's wanted, since we're all about bringing people together. Therefore, we have decided to take an indefinite pause from the Spokes candies. In their place, we are proud to introduce a spokesperson America can agree on, the beloved Maya Rudolph. We are confident Miss Rudolph will champion the power of fun to create a world where everyone feels they belong." So I responded. So I had a reaction to that, and my reaction was, I'm genuinely not sure what's worse: bad faith reactionary assholes complaining about the fuckability of cartoon candy mascots, or media, not like fringe, like blogs, like some dipshit on the internet like me, on LiveJournal or something, but actual legitimate news media feigning unbelievable stupidity so that it can pretend to entertain the idea that Mars Wrigley is capitulating to bad faith reactionary assholes by replacing its M&M spokes candies with a comedian. I'm inclined to think the latter's worse. I'm not a professional journalist. I'm not even the sharpest tool in the shed. But I read this press release from Mars Wrigley, and I immediately went, oh, marketing stunt. They're making fun of bad faith reactionary assholes who complain about the fuckability of cartoon candy mascots, and they're going to, do a Super Bowl spot or something. And it's like, yeah, we're replacing him with Maya Rudolph, and we're putting her face on the candies, and then we'll do a big 30 or 60 second spot at the Super Bowl, and they'll choke her to death and regain their rightful spot as the smokes candies of M&Ms. There's something. It's obviously a marketing stunt. It's a gimmick. It's a thing that says, hey, look at us, and buy our candies. And the news media, literally, in many cases, feigned unbelievable stupidity, going, oh my golly gosh, are they serious? Is Mars Wrigley really retiring the M&M spokes candies after 80 years? Just because Tucker Carlson's dick doesn't work? Really? No! No, you fucking disingenuous morons. No, of course not. What the literal hell is wrong with you? What does that even mean? The literal hell? Huh. What is wrong with you? It was so bad that Mars Wrigley actually had to make an announcement saying, no, you dipshits. They actually were interviewed, I think, by like the New York Times or something like that, and had to actually go on record saying, no, guys, come on. It's a marketing stunt. We love Maya Rudolph, like everyone does. We're not getting rid of the spokes candy characters. Of course we're not. Literally, what is wrong with you? Chicago says, some people are looking for any semblance of woke culture and speaking out against any changes. Yes, some people are bad faith reactionary assholes who invent things to complain about so that there's always a villain, someone to be angry about, someone to blame. Yes, those people do exist. Exile, literacy rates are low. Didn't think there was room for misinterpretation of enjoying nuts and M&Ms. Chicago says, do you hear people about the controversy regarding the power saving feature in the Xbox? No. Maybe? There were... I think I think there's something like it was the Xbox is going to force you to stop playing video games so that it can turn off and save the environment from climate change. It's like I think that's what the bad faith reactionary dishonest bullshit that bad faith reactionary assholes were stating. And I believe what it is Xbox has a power savings mode where it will, go into low power when it's not being used so that it uses less power. It does not force you to stop playing games at all. That's not what happens. It's kind of like the whole thing in the last week or so where it's like, oh my god, the government is coming for your gas stove! No, they're not. No, they're not. At all. Everyone who's saying... You know how I was introduced to that dumb fucking controversy? I saw a video where some woman was making eggs and being very smug about it. She's like... on camera. And she's like... And I'm watching this video going, well, she's eating eggs very, very smugly in a way that she's, like, sticking it to the man. Like, I'm rebelling by eating eggs. And I'm like, Susan, my dear friend, Susan, did somebody tell you that you weren't allowed to eat eggs? Is it a wealth flex? Is she, like, showing off that she can afford eggs because they're pretty expensive right now? I honestly thought it was about the eggs. I didn't realize she was cooking on a gas stove and it was the gas stove thing. It's like, I'll cook on a gas stove. You think you can take my gas stove? I'll cook on a gas stove. You won't take my... I'm like, moron, no one's coming for your gas stove. At all. Period. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. The worst thing, or the most extreme thing, rather, that would ever happen is at some point in the future, they would phase out the marketing and then sales of gas stoves in lieu of different types of stoves, like electric or induction stoves. No one is coming to your house to take your stove. You dishonest dipshits. I have a gas stove. Do you know why I have a gas stove? Because it's what came with the apartment. I don't have a choice in the matter. I don't own this place. I rent it. I couldn't replace that stove with something else. I don't have the rights to do that. I have a gas stove, again, because that's what came with the apartment. No one's coming for your goddamn gas stove. Are there advantages to cooking with gas? Sure. Are there disadvantages to gas stoves? Yeah. Are induction stoves better? In some ways, yes. But there are also disadvantages to induction stoves. Currently, they're more expensive. Although if gas stoves were phased out, the price would come down. Because the demand would stay the same and the production of stoves with the supply would go up. So the price would go down. Another drawback of induction stoves is you need specific pots and pans to work with it. Not all pots and pans are going to work with an induction burner. You need specific pots and pans. So you may have to buy all new pots and pans to get it to work with an induction stove. So, yeah. But back to M&Ms. Chicago says, government can't tell me I can't use my gas stove. It's okay to tell women they can't do what they want with their bodies, but don't come for my stuff. Yeah, exactly. But electric stoves are powered by the devil's infernal magic. Yeah. Gee, are you telling me that constantly pumping gas into my house and lighting it on fire is not the safest thing that you could ever do? Yeah. Are gas stoves dangerous? No. Can they harm you? It's possible. Yes. It's from what I've seen, it's not terribly common, but yeah. You can have a gas leak and that can cause problems. Gas stoves can explode. It's very, very rare, but it can happen. Has an electric stove ever exploded? So far as I know, no. Has one ever caught fire? Probably. Are they roundly safer than gas stoves? I believe so. Not something I've really researched, again, because I'm stuck with the stove that came with my apartment, so it doesn't really matter. Are induction stoves better, even though they're more expensive and require specific pots and pans? In some ways, yeah. They heat your food a lot faster. Like, you can boil water on an induction stovetop a lot faster than you can on a gas or an electric stovetop. So that's neat. But yeah, induction stoves are more expensive right now and do require specific pots and pans. But, you know, like electric vehicles, we're heading in that direction. What if we do all this? What if we, like, clean the air and stuff and it ends up not mattering? We'll have cleaned the air for nothing. Oh, but back to the candy. There is one potential legitimate controversy for M&Ms. Because, you see, my dear viewers, they introduced a new M&M, the purple M&M. So we've got a new character. And someone said, a purple M&M? That's a woke color. And I said, what? Well, you know that the purple M&M is trans. What? Well, because purple is one of the colors on the trans flag. Is it? Oh. Okay, it seemed more of a lavender to me, but okay, sure. Counterpoint, though, have you seen the general LGBTQIA+ flag? It's got all the colors on it. It's very, very colorful. So by that logic, all colors are woke! Red, yellow, green, blue, purple, orange, brown. All of them are woke, you dumbasses. So what is the potential legitimate M&M's character controversy? Well, here's our new purple character. What if there are no purple M&Ms in this bag? What if the purple M&M, like the cake, is a lie? That, dear viewers, that would be a controversy. That would be despicable. How dare Mars Wrigley mislead us? How can they add a purple M&M to the Spokes Candy roster, but not add purple M&Ms to the bag of M&Ms? Look, she's right there. Look, some of the M&Ms are purple. It says right on the bag. That's fraud. If there's no purple M&Ms in this bag, that is a legitimate controversy. You know, I read an article saying they're just, you know, the M&M's colors are still brown, orange, red, yellow, green, and blue. The 6 main colors that have stuck around since when did they retire tan? I think it was the mid-90s. Like, you know, 95, I think they replaced the tan one with blue. I saw it in an article. Yeah. They said they're not adding a new color M&M. It's just the 6 colors we've been enjoying for the last 20-some years. But it's on the bag. It's right on the bag. There's a cartoon character. There's a picture of purple candies. And I know they've got purple M&Ms. Because in like 2002 or something, they had a special run of purple M&Ms. You can actually go to the Mars Wrigley website and you can custom get M&Ms. Not just in custom colors, one of which is purple, but with custom things on them. You know, if you don't want an M or a W, you can put whatever you want on the M&M if you're willing to shell out. So, are there purple M&Ms in the bag? Let's see. This is the real controversy. This is the real important thing. Not Tucker Carlson's malfunctioning dick. That's not important. I'm sure it means a lot to him. And no one else. But for everyone else, the real important thing is, are there any purple M&Ms in the bag which advertises purple M&Ms? Let's find out. Let's see if there's something to be really upset about. No. Nope, there's purple M&Ms. Brown, purple, green. They're not in the main bags. The main bags of plain M&Ms or peanut M&Ms. Or peanut butter M&Ms, or crunchy M&Ms, or pretzel M&Ms. They're just in this one. But they're there. And to be fair, on all those other bags of M&Ms, Miss Purple here does not appear. So, if Tucker Carlson wasn't such a piece of shit human being, I might care that his dick doesn't work. But he's a piece of shit human being, so I don't care about his dick. And because I don't care about Tucker Carlson's dick, no one else does either. That's how that works. And since no one but Tucker Carlson cares about Tucker Carlson's defective dick, there's no controversy. We have solved M&M's controversy with science. And now you may look at my subscriber numbers and wonder how they could possibly be that low. Chicago says, I'm getting custom M&Ms with just F and U on them. Yeah. You know, the thing about different colored candies is green, purple, taste exactly the same. It's because the only difference is the food dye. You know, M&M's, Skittles, what are other candies? I don't know. Gummy bears, gummy worms, Sour Patch Kids. Now, Sour Patch Kids actually do have different flavors, but that's per bag. Your basic bag of mixed colored Sour Patch Kids, they all taste exactly the same. There are different colored candies that do have different flavors, like fruit sours. You know, the yellow ones are lemon, the red ones are cherry, and so on and so forth. You know, purple's usually grape. But I've always found it weird that a lot of candies, and I just picked up all three of the same color, that a lot of candies bother doing different colors, but not different flavors. They all taste exactly the same. Even so, I have this habit of sorting them into different colors. Like, I do this. Whoop, hang on. I know I'm not alone in this. I do that. I don't know why. There's no point in doing that. They all taste exactly the same. But I'll sort them by color anyway, golddarn it. You mean purple doesn't taste trans? Yeah. Alright, let's see. Ooh. My. The purple one is trans. Well, hang on a second. Miss Green. Gay. Miss Brown. Gay. Nope. Not gay. Polyamorous. Nice. Okay. Green. Trans. Poly. Orgy. It's like a porno in my mouth. Oh, God. I didn't think before I said that out loud. All right, I got to put that on my Twitter profile now. Andrew Eisen. It's like a porno in your mouth. Oh, that doesn't even mean anything. It doesn't make any sense, and yet there's a visceral, horrified recoil from the very idea. Again, how can my subscribership be so low? with S-tier bon mots like that. Exile says, the only time I overthink candy is when I'm too lazy to open wrappers by hand and figure out the flavor. You get a flashlight, have the candy rest on the lens, and then show. Oh, hey, that's an interesting idea. Okay, yep. Yeah, it's. I think that's a fine note to end on. All right. Yeah. So, hey, I'll be playing some video games tomorrow if you want to stop by and watch. And even though I do have an NVIDIA graphics card, I promise I won't use that stupid eye contact thing. You know? This is a good match. My TV's over here, so if I'm playing like PS4 or Wii U or any of my console games, you know, I do this, and I'm playing games over here. You know, imagine if the entire time it was like, it looked like this. Just the 5 hours of unblinking staring. Why would anyone want that? I mean, it might be, you know, I'll be playing Trails from Zero tomorrow, which is a PC game, so I'll be looking, you know, here's my camera, which is sitting on top of my monitor, so I'll be looking down at the game, and occasionally over at the chat. But still, I don't know why anyone would want me to play a video game like this. Yes, I'm enjoying this video game. Are you enjoying this video game that I'm playing but never looking at for some reason? So, NVIDIA, it's a bad idea and it doesn't work. So, let's see. Chicago, will you be having an orgy in your mouth while playing video games tomorrow? No, I think I'll probably finish these. I'll finish them off tonight. They won't have the energy for tomorrow. Not even with a full night's sleep. Chicago says, oh, that'd be so creepy. You should do the eye focus thing and smile really creepily the whole time. Yeah, just, I'm having fun. Are you having fun? That should be the next thing that I've talked about this many times, but to an extent, what you see during my podcasts and game streams is a performance. To an extent. Those of you who have watched my Extra Life charity events, you see the real me slip through, especially in the wee small hours of the morning when I stop performing and just get it because I'm tired. My performance in podcasts and streams and stuff is I am conscious of altering my facial expression, of doing the eye contact thing but also looking away, gesticulations, tonal variations in my voice. I think I mentioned facial expression changes because I have resting murder you face, right? If I'm not very conscious, of performing in a way, then you get a very flat affect from me. Naturally, I don't alter my tone of voice very much. I comfortably speak towards the bottom of my vocal range. That's just where my voice most comfortably sits. I also am most comfortably looking at the subject of whomever I'm speaking with. I also don't naturally alter my facial expression very much. In fact, I live alone, so if you were to watch me play a video game, or read a book, or watch a television show, or, I don't know, play the piano, you might think, golly, is Andrew having any fun? And moreover, is he angry at the keyboard, at the television, at the computer, at the book? No, I'm not. That's just how my face naturally sits. So, what you see is an intentional performance to a point. Like, it's not a lie, though. What it is for me is an attempt to get my outside, my mannerisms, my tone of voice, and my facial expressions to match what I'm thinking and feeling. Because, for me, unless I purposefully do that, it rarely comes across to anyone other than people who know me really, really well. Like my sister, who's had decades to get used to being able to read me. So, where I was going with that is, it would be very interesting if NVIDIA updated it to not just alter your eyes so that it's staring at the camera, or currently staring off to the left somewhere, but it also did the work for you as far as facial expressions go. What if it not only digitally manipulated your eyeballs so that they were always looking at the camera, but they also digitally manipulated your mouth to make you smile all the time, whether you're actually smiling or not? Wouldn't that be something? And it could digitally alter the pitch of your voice. It could be great. I could just sit here and speak naturally and emote naturally. Not vary my tone of voice, not gesticulate too much, not look away from the camera, not alter my facial expression much. I can just relax and be me, and not have to worry about making people uncomfortable. When NVIDIA can do all the work for me, it can animate my arms and hands into various gestures. It can make me smile and make me actually break eye contact now and then, and digitally alter my tone of voice. And thanks to NVIDIA, I come across not as a angry or depressed putz. Thanks, NVIDIA. But first, maybe work on the eyeline thing, because it's constantly it's constantly staring off to the left of the camera. Chicago says it's kind of like that one photo filter that makes people look like they're crying. I'm not aware of that one, but okay. So, okay, that's it for tonight. Have have a wonderful evening with mouth orgies aplenty, and I hope to see you tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time, for some more Trails from Zero. So, have a lovely evening, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.